Hello. Hello. We're back. Hi. Is this thing working? Let's see. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? It's been a minute. It's been a chaotic few months out here. Who's in here? Drug-induced travel experiences. I recognize your name. Joshua Walker. Hello. Hello, everybody. It's good to be back. I'm here with my injection molder. Back from Milwaukee. My crazy road trip injection molding. If you haven't seen that video yet, check it out. It's a whole movie. What's up? No Name, Cleveland Angel, Icarus, Schmo. All the regulars are here. Jewel, what's up? No way he got a tree? Oh yeah, there's a plant there. I think that's been there, or maybe it was over there. It might have been off camera before, but yeah, I have a big old plant. I found it for free on the side of the road. A nice pickup. I don't know why I'm live exactly. I'm slightly out of practice on this. I'm like, I just have to go live to get back in the zone. You know? It's been, I've only streamed once since October. I don't know where the hell all the time went. It's been 6 months. Everything's been pretty chaotic, which you can tell by my posting schedule. Basically, since the Tucson broke down, it's just been crazy. But I'm back on my feet. I'm coming back. Afternoon, Bevman. You on Twitch too? I am on, not currently. I'm not currently on Twitch. My internet's kind of been on the fritz, and so for a comeback stream, I didn't want to risk streaming on both and breaking both streams. So for the moment, I'm just on YouTube. But since you mentioned it, I probably will be streaming more on Twitch, just to not spam the YouTube too much between uploads. But I think I'm going to do more like chill live recording sessions, like I was doing the other month on Twitch. Scrap plant? Yes, sir. Early. What's up, Darkman? I produced some air to combat all the toxic fumes. Good point. I've been better about that recently. I've got my respirator right here. But yeah, I did run this thing in here the other day. But it's so nice outside now that it's coming up on summer. I can just open all the windows, run some fans. It works pretty nice. Good to see you. Been a while. Yep. How's the Toyota? Toyota's doing all right. I don't know if you watched the video or not, but it kind of broke down on the way up to Milwaukee on the last video. Just so many issues with, like, the car runs fine. It's just the computers, like related to ABS and traction control, all that stuff. I had some ABS issues that were causing me, the brakes were cutting out, and now, like, the throttle was cutting out. So, I'll talk more about it in the next video on the cars, but it's, I think I'm just going to delete the ABS traction control system because it just works better without it. I bet everyone watched the video. Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes on YouTube when I'm away for a month or two, it just doesn't recommend the new video as much. So, you never know. What are you talking about? 2020 was a few weeks ago, right? I know. Yep. I've just been, the last 6 months, all I've wanted to do is just get back on the horse and go crazy October mode again, like how I posted 10 videos in October. That's all I want to do. And I think I'm ready. I think I'm on my feet enough to hop back into that workflow. I've been in kind of a weird spot where it's like all the videos that I do post end up being giant, and then I work way too long on them when it would be better content if I just did a bunch of smaller videos. So that's what's coming next. A lot of little studio upgrades, you know. The studio has kind of been stagnant for a minute, and there's a lot of stuff that needs changing. Notably, I need to find a place to put this thing, the injection molder, because it's kind of a beast. It's kind of huge. I don't know where it's going to live. I kind of planned for it to be a little smaller, but at the end of the day, it only needed to be small enough to fit in the trunk of the car for the purposes of the project. And now I have to figure out where it goes. So, probably this workbench is going to get extended further that way. Maybe some storage racks in the closet that I wasn't utilizing much before. This whole desk area that I built in October might get kind of revamped and double-decker, like storage above, workspace below, sort of like all this stuff is. So, lots of big upgrades coming. Any videos in the backlog? There's a handful of things that are partially filmed. I've been doing a lot of just small projects. What do I have in the backlog? A lens repair. Some camera stuff is coming back. Because I have not really made much camera videos. And I know a lot of people want that. 3D printer mod video. Definitely car stuff. I've been working a lot on the cars behind the scenes, just whenever I have a spare couple hours as the weather's been getting nicer, you know, working between the rain. So probably a 4Runner video, a Tucson video, lens repair. I've been messing around with a little anamorphic lens, DIYing an anamorphic. That's your sneak peek right there. Put it on a C-mount lens. 3D printed a little housing. We'll see how many of those end up making it to full videos, you know. Sometimes I just start stuff, I film everything, and just see what ends up turning into something. Sometimes it's years later, you know, like the Rode mic repair I did. I filmed that a year before it got posted. Revisiting the Canon EOS M $0 camera rig video. Is that a Panamicron? Yeah, Panamicron sold some reject lenses where the coating was screwed up. And so like the actual nice anamorphic adapter is like $300 or something, but he sold reject lenses for $10. And so I just printed my own housing for it. I've got some test footage on that, so that'll be something. Oh yeah, you told me about it. Yeah. Shout out to you. Yeah. That was big. It does look pretty damn cool. At the same time, it helps with the storytelling to have those bigger videos. I think the last video was better with the starting segment about other mold mats. Yeah. Yeah, I like the big stuff from time to time, but I just want to make more, you know? I want to have more videos out. But yeah, originally that video was going to be, the video I just posted was going to be 2 episodes, where there was one on trying new mold materials and then one on the trip. And then it ended up just blending together because it was so chaotic. Like for context, when I made the 20-minute injection molder video where I made this thing, that was finished, like the final shots of me testing that thing were like an hour before I posted the video, right? And that was Friday, when the last day of the convention was Saturday. And so then I posted that video at like 11 p.m., immediately started on the next video, stayed up till like 3 a.m. working on those mold materials, and then woke up, road tripped, car broke down, then all the chaos of the convention. So that was all, everything in the video I just posted was within 36 hours of the end of the previous video. So it all got meshed together because it was just so time crunched. But yeah, I had to re-edit that video 3 times, and that's why it took so long, because they were going to be 2 episodes, and then I reworked it as an intro, and that was too long, and yeah. Time to learn how to sleep standing up? Yeah, right. Where do I put my bed now? Did I hear cameras? Yes. New camera stuff. Oh, I got a bunch of point and shoots the other day for like free. There was my local camera store does like a garage sale every once in a while just to clear out inventory that hasn't sold. And so they'll give you like a little box, and it's just $15, whatever you can stick in the box. And so I got like 5 point and shoots for $15. Got like a little cyber shot. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all these yet. 1 or 2 of them I know I'm gonna mod. One of them I'm gonna fix up and give to a buddy. Got like a little Nikon Coolpix. None of them have batteries or anything, so I still have to spend money to get them working. This thing's pretty cool. Old school cyber shot. Shoots on memory stick. So yeah, I've got material for some janky camera videos. How are Michael and Chase doing after the trip? They're actually in Mexico right now. So they're off on another adventure. I thought about going, but I can't be away for too long. Hey man, greets from the Netherlands. How's the car doing? Car's doing all right. I ended up just like disabling the traction control because it made the throttle freak out because the computers were freaking out and thought that the car was slipping, and so it would cut the throttle to compensate. And it was just doing that in normal driving. And it's just so many sensors. Like I replaced all the wheel speed sensors, and I replaced the computer. That was like $200. Just so much stuff, and it's still on the fritz. So I'm like, nah, I'll just cut all those systems and just drive safely, you know. But yeah, it's running right now. I've made some major progress on the Tucson. Just stripping that thing completely down. The last video update on it was the scrap wood engine hoist. So that was just pulling the engine, but since then I've pulled everything else that was in the engine bay, you know, the steering rack, all the suspension components, and then the other day I went through the dashboard, pulled the whole dashboard frame, steering column, cabin air blowers, and then exhaust, gas tank. It's basically a metal shell at this point. Actually, I can show you because you're asking about it. I have a kind of like a scrapbook Instagram for my car project, and I just dump photos on here whenever I'm working on it. So this was the engine hoist. That was when it was out, but there's still all this junk in there. got that all cleaned out, took out the suspension, so it's literally just the frame rails. And then that is the dashboard completely stripped. There's my steering wheel. Got to get rid of those airbags. And now it's just floating on cinder blocks. So we're pretty much there on processing it down to just the cab. So that's where that's at. I'll have a video update on that at some point. I don't want to, like, you know, so many car YouTubers do like a 1,000,000-part series, and because I'm not like a car YouTuber, I'm just hoarding footage, and then I'll do one big episode later. Any fun projects you're amped about? I'm really excited to get back into camera mods. I've got an exciting one coming up, screwing around with the M50. And then just studio upgrades, you know? I don't like it when things stay the same for too long. I wanna adjust and start making improvements again. So there will be a lot of that in May. I guess I'll talk about it now. I have a plan for May. I'm hesitant to make too many promises and then fall short of them. But my concept for May is called No Money May. And I'm going to do a video series, just make a bunch of small projects, kind of like I did in October. Just studio improvements, building shelves, little things here and there, maybe some camera videos. But the restriction is I'm not allowed to spend any money on any of the projects. So every project in May will be a $0 project, which I think puts a lot of fun restrictions on things, just like figuring out how to do stuff with only materials I already have, you know? That's the core of the channel. I was actually just figuring out how to import the mesh into Fusion so I could fix the screw holes. They seem weird to me. I don't remember what this was talking about. The video was awesome, perfect follow-up to last year. I was really expecting it to be a shit happens video and the end was triumphant. I know, right? I didn't harp on it too much, but like, I really did consider skipping the whole thing. When my car broke, I was like, I'm already so far from home, like, should I just cut my losses and drive back south? Honestly, a big reason I didn't do it was because I just made it north of Chicago, and if I was going to go back home, I would have had to drive all the way through Chicago again with my throttle cutting. It was so bad, so bad. The drive home was terrible. Because like the expressway through Chicago was like, it was stop and go traffic, and my throttle would cut when I came to a complete stop. So I'd be in the expressway where there's like not that much of a shoulder to pull off onto, and just every time the traffic is stopping and going, I have to restart my car to get the gas pedal to do anything again. It was so rough. But I made it back. I basically just went completely around Chicago, just took a bunch of stops. I was doing research the whole way, just looking stuff up, trying to figure out how to disable traction control and all that stuff. And I got it figured out. But by that time I was already south of Chicago, so the worst of it had already been gone through. To be fair, was not expecting the injection molder to work that good. Me neither. Me neither. But it pulled through. It did the job. Pretty flawlessly, actually. There's minor improvements I would make. The big thing I didn't anticipate with the workflow was this plunger that actually rams the plastic through. It would get a lot of plastic stuck on it because it was so cold outside that this plastic would solidify, and then when I tried to extrude the next copy, it would get stuck and it wouldn't be able to push through because there's a bunch of solid plastic on this thing. And so I think on the next redesign, I would move things so there's a way to keep the plunger in the barrel while the barrel is sitting on this little post I made for it. Because right now when it's on the post, the plunger can't go all the way over. So that would have made it a little bit faster. And then better fume extraction for sure. That would help. It worked pretty good, but I should have just wired it to the 12 volt in the car instead of running it off of power tool batteries. Because at one point I was just so in the zone that it killed the battery and I didn't really notice because the generator was loud on its own, so I didn't notice that the fans cut out. Which Coolpix was that? I don't know. I haven't actually researched these yet. S210. I assume it's pretty, would be cool for photos, but really trashy video. But that's kind of fun too. Studio revamp is always a lot of work, but really invigorating. Yep. I always enjoy it. Yeah, extending this desk is probably a big part of it. Like this whole corner over here isn't very useful right now. You know, it's just the filing cabinets, which I might kind of chop up and make them a little more modular. Hell yeah, $0 studio revamps are fun. Right in the middle of filming my own revamp now. My place has exploded in the last months. Impossible to film any YouTube vids, so filming a revamp instead. I like it. I like it. Yeah. Got a lot of minor stuff to do in mine as well. It's tempting to just do one giant video, but I think I should split it up into smaller parts for my circumstance. Get a Toyota ATP, no funky sensors. Is that a different car? I'm not buying another car, but oh. Wait, what is this? I don't know. For anyone who doesn't live in the area, going from Milwaukee to Indianapolis is wonderful, except for an hour-long gap around Chicago. Yeah. It would have been fine if I could have just hopped on the expressway and driven it normally, but the car just... It doesn't even go that fast normally because it's still kind of shaky. So it was like several issues on top of each other. Hoping to buy a miniature from you next year. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I think I might end it as a trilogy, at least for Adepticon being the thing. I'll use the injection molder for other stuff within my own space, but I think Adepticon has served as like a really good deadline to like make improvements to this thing. Because I don't really need it for my projects right now. I'm building it for a longer term thing, which is the board game that I always talk about vaguely, and eventually doing a production run of miniatures for that. And so Adepticon's been like a fun way to put a little pressure on myself to get it going, but it's pretty much there. It's pretty much exactly as I would like it to be. So I think one more year of improvements and we'll go all out next year, run it like a booth, sell miniatures on the spot, be way more prepared. I was honestly expecting one of those learn from my mistakes videos. We'll get it next time, but damn, wow. I know, right? I don't know how I pulled through. I slept for like 3 days straight after that. I guess I didn't talk about timelines that much in the video, but it was like I worked wake till sleep on this machine for 8 days, and then immediately after wrapping that video, made the molds or tested the molds, drove up to Chicagoland, tested until 6 a.m., didn't really work, got 3 hours of sleep, went to the convention. Like I woke up at like 7, 8 a.m. that day and went straight to Chicago, went straight to Milwaukee, but because the car was on the fritz, we didn't get there until so late. And then obviously was up till 3 a.m. injection molding that night. And then an 8 or 9 hour drive home, plus losing an hour to time zones. So, yeah, that was a hell of a weekend. Ahoy from Germany, what's up? The Trent trilogy, exactly. Well, I want to keep collabing with Trent, but, you know, it would make more sense to just, like, go to Australia or something. Because he's just not in the US that much. Congrats on the sponsor for the last video. Thank you. Yeah, I took that because, like, full transparency, I needed the molds anyway. So, I was going to buy them. And I don't think they'd mind me talking about it. I had offers from multiple companies that do the same thing PCBWay did. You know, like PCBs, CNC, 3D printing, all of that stuff. And one of the other companies offered like more than double what PCBWay did. But I tried all the services, and PCBWay was like legit the one I was going to go through. I was going to order these same parts regardless. So I was like, you know what, we'll take the sponsor, cover a little bit of the expenses, and get the parts for free, obviously. I don't know that I'll be doing a ton of sponsors on the channel, but it made sense there. Plus, that was coming up on tax season, and I didn't have the money for taxes. But I do genuinely, it's a good product. I will keep using them. Like, I'd tell you if I wouldn't take it if I just needed money. There were plenty of worse sponsors I could have taken. It's a good company. Got 100 square meter space and need to clear out at least 30 square meters of floor space for some big projects, while still keeping the roller skate shop running. It's a juggling act. Oh boy. Yeah. Sounds kind of fun though. A fun challenge if you got the time. When you shoot all the different kinds of footage, do you save them on memory cards or download into the computer to save them? I mean, I shoot onto memory card. When I'm in the studio, sometimes I'll record straight into the computer, or like what I've done before is cut up a live stream into a video, which I think I'm going to be doing more of, like long streams on Twitch, and just treating that as a live recording session. But for most stuff, yeah, it's just recording straight to SD. The injection molding in Milwaukee video took extra long to edit because the whole thing was filmed. Michael filmed it where I usually film, and then I had 2 mics running on me and Trent, and I didn't sync them up to the camera because I just wanted the raw audio, and I wanted to make sure that I had it and there was no like wireless transmission issues. So I had the 2 audio tracks from the mics constantly running, and then a bunch of small clips from the camera, and I had to sync all of it up. Not to mention the the crazy background noise from the generators and everything to work around. So it was a bit of a chaotic edit. I can show you actually. So like, this is a more normal timeline for me. It's just, you know, 2 tracks of video and audio, and then the 3rd track is voiceover, 4th track is music. But then when it gets to this remote shooting, we've got 2 tracks of video, audio, then voiceover, then 2 more tracks of audio from the mics, and then the music, and having to sync all that up. So it was you can tell like how much crazier it is from my normal process to what it was out here. But got it done. Got it done. What's the monster truck chairs story? I never noticed it getting used in the studio. Yeah, it kind of sucked. That was one of the early videos from when I was like maybe gonna like go in a more sensationalized direction for the channel, like, you know, the standard route for like maker YouTube is like build ridiculous stuff, and that's the idea. And so that was like when I was thinking that was going to be more my route, and so it was just kind of a ridiculous thing that wasn't actually that practical. I thought I might use it, but then it ended up being just the caster wheels swiveled way too much, and it wasn't that balanced of a chair. So I would have had to make the base so much wider for it to be stable, so I didn't really use it. I ended up cutting it up in the engine hoist video and using those wheels for the scrapwood engine hoist. Yeah, and then I moved on from that kind of form of content and just got more utilitarian with it. Just took a break from work on my blacksmith shop, so timing on this is great. That's sick. Live stream videos are nice because they're controlled chaos. I agree. I want to do more of that, because in a weird way, streaming a video takes some of the pressure off. It makes me less perfectionist, because then I can't redo lines over and over. So that might be a much bigger part of my content going forward, because I think I can just make videos faster that way. And also at some point, you know, it would make it easier for if I got to a point where I could hire somebody else to rough cut the videos, then they could rough cut the stream while it's going, and, you know, just speed up the workflow. You never really know what may happen as a result of chat being around. That's true. They helped me a lot when I did like a couple streams running the 3D printer for the first time. They helped me figure out what was going on with the X-axis offset thing. It's a challenge, alright, especially with the MIDI ramp in the middle of the shot. Trying to make YouTube vids and all that stuff is interesting. I feel ya. In a small room myself, trying to film in here is crazy. I think one of my studio adjustments might be cutting this middle desk shorter, because my original idea with that was like, oh, it would be nice to have a central workbench for when I'm like working on something larger and having it as a standing desk. It would have been ideal for building the injection molder, because the injection molder barely fits on this workbench. So having a little more headroom over there would be nice. But then I just never ended up using it that way. And now like the sewing machine is mounted there. So yeah, I think I'll shorten that a little bit. Give myself some more working space in the middle of the room. Your original injection mold video inspired me to make a tabletop game that I hope to share next to Adepticon and get some feedback on. Keep up the great inspiring videos. Thank you. Yeah, that'd be sick. I'm big into tabletop game design. I'm a nerd with that stuff. I haven't really shown it much on this channel, but one day, actually maybe soon, I want to do some more like just storytelling videos as a break from between the smaller build videos that I'm going to be doing or getting back to, I want to also put in more just like how I got to this point, just like sharing some of the gaps in the story that aren't on the YouTube channel. Story of my first business, stuff like that, how I got into making. And then just some behind the scenes stuff about just the YouTube journey in general. Got 2 or 3 that I'm planning. But yeah, tabletop game design is one big part of why I got into making all this stuff. Because kind of the original concept of the channel was going to be just like building stuff to set up this like kind of production house to fully make a board game. And it still will go that direction. I've just been taking more of a detour than I thought. But yeah, I mean, that's why I'm building the freaking injection molder. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'll get back to that at some point. Especially with 3 new digital film cameras from around 2005, I have to get working as well. Nice. Good to see another Resolve editor. Oh yeah, Resolve is the best. I got off Adobe. If you want to hire me to trim your footage, that's the only thing I ever got done when I try to make long videos. I cut all the content. When I finish, get bored and drop the video. Yeah. I'll make like a whole announcement at some point whenever I'm actually ready for that. But yeah. Cool. You had your own business at one point besides YouTube. Yeah, that's how I got my first YouTube videos were actually like for that business. I was doing like some graphic design stuff in the tabletop gaming world. So I'll do a whole story about that in a video. That was a chaotic era of its own. He's a broke dropout. Of course he had a business. Yeah. Funny thing is, I was less broke at that point. What was the hardest part of switching to Resolve? Nothing. It's the same. People make such a big deal about it. But, I don't know. But I also don't do anything fancy. Like, I'm sure if I were doing motion graphics and stuff, maybe I'd have bigger gripes. But, like, to me, it's Premiere, but there's different tabs. Like, audio recording is a little different, but you pick it up pretty much immediately. And color grading is better. But other than that, I just set all my keybinds to the same thing, and it's the same program. Studio looking fresh, my G. Thank you, my G. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can see one of the things I was messing around with when I was on my little hiatus. Kind of reorganize. There'll be a lot of reorganizing content coming, but all the ammo boxes up there, some of them got painted. I got some new yellow ones. So one of the videos coming up in May will be like building a new storage rack for all those boxes up there. I'm probably reworking that entire shelf, because when I built that in the move-in video, I had all these big ideas of, oh yeah, this will be like the music production setup or something, and then now it's just boxes. I'm just so trenched into all the Adobe programs. I know. I'm still stuck on Photoshop, but I'm just happy I was able to drop my subscription from like the $60 all programs to the $20 Photoshop. You do any Arduino or Raspberry Pi programming? At some point, I would like to, but I don't. I'm kind of scared of coding. I don't know. I think I could figure it out, but for the most part, I'm a work with my hands kind of guy. But I used to, I guess. When I was a kid, I was like screwing around with Game Maker Studio, programming little video games, making like programming Snake on my TI-84, stuff like that. So I think I could get back into it. I'm just frankly not as good at it. Use AI for stuff at all? No. I don't know. It's such a tough topic. I have used it for drafts and things where I just need to visualize something, but it's never in the final part of anything that I do. Sometimes I'll talk to ChatGPT and see if it throws anything good at me. Like, actually, I was struggling for the title of the video I just posted, and so I had a whole conversation with ChatGPT, and it just kept throwing me terrible titles, and I'm like, please make them less clickbaity, and it would still sound super clickbaity, and I'm like, okay, this is not gonna do it. But you know, I'm open to it. I'm not gonna use it for any final products, especially when it comes to image generation. The best way to get unscared of coding is to have a project to work through. Yeah. I may do it at some point. I think a good intro would be maybe like trying to get one of those Raspberry Pi cameras to work or something. But right now, the biggest programming thing I've done in the last few years is like, I don't know, messing with CSS code to do Twitch overlays that I didn't even use, or flashing macros to a keyboard PCB. I don't know. Nothing crazy. I haven't actually coded in a long time. There's something about making something physical. Yeah, I agree. I might get back into it. It's like when I was a kid and a teenager, like I was doing a lot of programming and graphic design and learning video editing because that's just all I had. All I had was a computer. And so now I'm like, you know, I'm willing to admit maybe it's a phase of going full on into this, and I'll reintroduce the computer stuff back in. But it's just like, since I moved out in college or whatever, I just dove headfirst into all the physical stuff because now I actually had a space and money to buy power tools and all that stuff. But at some point I'll incorporate back in the computer stuff possibly. How did you take that last shot for the miniature you made? Yeah, I realized I finished the whole video last night, and then I realized I really wanted a final shot of the miniature. Because when it's me and Trent standing in the parking garage doing the outro, and Trent shows it to the camera, you can't actually see, the camera doesn't focus. I was like, that's kind of unsatisfying. I want like one last shot of the miniature. But I made so many of them for everybody else, and I didn't keep one for myself because I was just focused on getting them all out to everybody that was there. But the mold is still fine. You know, it's not even degraded at all. Light isn't great here, but, you know, it's as good as it was on the first cast. So I was like, screw it, I'll just fire this thing back up. So at like 10 p.m. yesterday, I carried this thing back up into the studio, fired it up. I just opened all the windows and ran a big fan straight from here out. There's a window right here. And then just wore a gas mask or a respirator while I was doing it. This thing worked good, you know. PPE, worthwhile. And then fun fact, I finished the video, like, I made the final edits to the video with the respirator on. It's just part of being a low-budget YouTuber, is editing your videos with a freaking gas mask. But it's worth it. keep the lungs healthy, you know. Modeling or sculpting something digitally and then 3D printing something physical somehow makes everything feel more real. Yeah, I totally agree. Like when I'm making the final models that I'm going to injection mold for my tabletop game, I'm totally just going to sculpt them large scale with clay, 3D scan that, and then make the molds based off of that, instead of trying to model in Blender or whatever. Sculpting digitally just does not come naturally to me. I can do like isometric, like parameter based stuff, but not the full on sculpting. Love to comment on your last video about using jacking bolts to separate your molds. Yes, that is a good idea. You might want to left a message on your last video. Yeah, I might have seen it. But yeah, I did realize that. I don't think I used it in the final video, but in that whole segment where we were trying to separate this mold, I was like, I did not think about that at all when designing this thing. I was only thinking about what it needed to make it work once it was done, but not about pulling it apart after it was made. So I think if I did a version 2 of this, it would either have bolts to separate it or just larger pry holes. Something like that. Scrapwood computer win? No joke, it's on my short list. I think what I have written down is pallet wood PC case. Just like fully build a computer case out of pallet wood. So I'm sure you were joking, but to some degree, might do it. AI is radioactive. The YouTuber Posey did a really good video with AI talking about using it in an artistic workflow, ethics of AI, and got such a bad reception when he took it down. Damn, I never saw that one. Yeah, people hate it. I don't like it either, but you know, it's just we'll just have to see how it shakes out. It ain't going away, I know that. But I try to be optimistic about it. I haven't finally managed to catch a live stream. I haven't been able to in a long time. Yay. Good to have you here. What's your demographic like? Who's watching you would be interesting to know. Off the top of my head, I think it's a majority older than me. I don't have that much in the 18 to 25 segment. In that bracket, I think it's largely like 25 to 35 is the main bracket, and then like 35 to 45 is about as much as 18 to 25, which is kind of funny. I don't know why. Am I not appealing to the youngsters? And then it's obviously like 95% male or something. Country-wise, it's more diverse than I would have thought. I think it's only like 35% US, and then a lot of Europe, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, mostly 30s men. Of course, there was a very real possibility that we never would have gotten to see the first cast with the JB weld sticking to itself and the case. That's true. Yeah, that was tense. It was a lot longer than it ended up being in the video, but we were worried that nothing was going to come out of there. Looking at 3D printing a mold with some high impact, high temp resin that I'll put into an aluminum frame. That would totally work, yeah. It's another potential sponsor. I'll have to weigh the pros and cons of it, but I got offered a resin printer. I don't know what the terms of the sponsor are. I don't want to take any that are like super restrictive on what I can say or anything. But resin printing for injection molds seems like a huge opportunity. because it is much more resistant to high temps. It's amazing. I used to have a resin printer in my office and spent a lot of time at my desk just wearing a respirator. Are the resin fumes pretty bad too? I didn't know about that. The regular 3D printer with just like PLA or whatever has been fine. But yeah, I guess I imagine resin would be worse. Do a wall mount PC on a pallet? Maybe. Hello from the 1825 bracket. Holding strong. I just gotta make more skibbity toilet videos. No, that's for 14-year-olds. What can I do to appeal to the young folk? I need to get the next generation interested in making things. You could give each half of the mold a grip to hold and pull apart. I think it's just flat, which makes it difficult to pry open. Yeah, definitely. Okay, we do have some younger folks, but I guess the demographic is probably skewed younger for live stream viewers, huh? Europeans are way more interested in DIYing shit. Yeah, in America, we're all about plastic, disposable junk. Leasing cars and not ever touching them. What company? Legitimately, I don't remember, but one of the good ones. One of the good ones. Or I think actually they're kind of all somewhat interested, so I could kind of pick based on what I actually think is real. That's kind of my parameters for actually taking a sponsor, is if like multiple companies in the same segment are willing to sponsor, then I can actually have an unbiased pick of which one I truly believe in. Hello from the 50+ bracket from Norway. Evanism is going global. Love it. As a person who's used a resin printer, you will need to have that outside of your office. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I should set up like a really good fume extraction system and like run it in my basement or something and just have it dump out one of the windows. Resin fumes are genuinely dangerous. Yeah, I guess if it's anything like regular pouring resin, then it would be bad. Even with carbon filter and extractor. Huh. Okay. Any vehicle updates? Yeah, I was showing this a second ago, but the Tucson is fully stripped. Everything but the rear suspension is gone. So, last video update was the engine bay, or the engine being gone. So you can see all that stuff in there, the brake cylinder, steering, wiring, all that's gone now. Internals, dashboard frame, everything that was in there, steering, all gone. And then exhaust got dropped, gas tank got dropped. I got 5 free gallons of gas out of this thing. Huge. So yeah, the only thing keeping it, the only functional thing still on it is the rear suspension. And then it will be just a metal frame to be chopped. But I don't really have any pictures of the 4Runner on here. 4Runner's doing all right. Getting it sorted out. Slowly working out the kinks. I've been designing and sculpting TTRPG minis for the last 6 years, and I'm in the middle of developing a skirmish game in addition to 5 other Kickstarters. And sculpting stuff for Beetle and Grimm. Sick. That's awesome. If you upload a skibbity toilet video, I'm going to stop giving you money every month. Okay. I will not. Yeah, I was really gonna do it. Cut your video every 10 seconds and no slow moments. It already is cut kind of fast. 10 seconds is long. But yeah, I could just be doing more interesting things to appeal to the kids. But I won't. I'm not that guy. With the tariffs hitting soon, there might be an upswing in learning how to make TikToks from palletwood soon. I did think about that. That's like part of the message of No Money May. It's just doing all these studio upgrades without buying anything. It's just like, you know, with uncertainty. Who the hell knows? It's kind of a more pro-Gen Z vibe to have. Younger generations are way more used to owning and doing things digitally, so maybe that doesn't have the urge for this relationship with real things. Yeah. Who knows? I think we'll hit another upswing of finding satisfaction in doing things physically, getting off the screens. I mean, we're already seeing people kind of rejecting smartphones, going to flip phones, and, you know, going into the trades is cooler now than getting a college degree. Like, or not cooler, but it's a more accepted path, or it's becoming cooler again. So I think we're getting there. 23-year-old dude from Canada and DIY his life. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's just a satisfying lifestyle to be able to, like, when something goes wrong, something breaks, you don't have to buy a new one. You can fix your own stuff. You don't have to buy IKEA furniture. You can just build something for cheaper that's going to be stronger. It's very fulfilling. We're also broke as shit and don't engage with maker stuff as much because it's hard for us to do it. Huh. I'd love to do maker stuff, but I don't have a place to do it. Yeah, that's fair. It's like I was talking about earlier. Like, I started making anything just purely digitally because I just didn't have my own area. But at least that gets you in the mindset of doing stuff. It doesn't really, I guess it doesn't really matter if it's physical or digital, as long as you're just in the mindset of doing things for yourself. How did you end up with your own place? Is there a story in that? I mean, I don't own this place. It's a rental. I would love to own a house, but that's hard. Yeah, I mean, I moved out, went to college for a year and a half, then COVID happened, dropped out, moved in with some of my friends that were at a different college. They just had like a little townhouse. Moved in with them into their basement because there wasn't an extra bedroom. Because I moved back to my parents' house after I left college. And I was like, I can't do what I want to do here. Nothing wrong with it. It's just like I wanted a little more freedom. And so I just on a whim moved into the basement of my friend's college house. And then just kind of put stuff together from there. I've been jumping around. Yeah, it's expensive, mate. I want to just I'm getting to the point where I just want to buy land and just start stacking cinder blocks, you know. One day there'll be a series on this channel where they're building a house from scratch or restoring a jungle house, buying a burned down home and stripping it down to the roots. What is going on? What happened? Cool. Hello. Are we back? I thought I fixed that. Hello, hello, hello. Maybe? Okay, yeah, we're back. Thanks for letting me know. I thought I fixed that. Audio's such a thing, man. I'm gonna switch to Linux so everything stops breaking on every Windows update. Bro's microphone just took hard drugs. Yeah, and the hard drugs were Windows drivers. Yeah, I gotta sort out my audio. Well, we're back now, so whatever. I went to college for digital design, and ironically now I enjoy making stuff with my hands way more than purely digital. Same. I went for graphic design, and now I'm building with my hands. Long hair, Evan. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not wearing a hat today. Rare occurrence. You don't manage your inputs analog? What do you mean? I mean, it's just an audio interface, but it's buggy. What else was I going to talk about today? I feel like there was other things that I wanted to cover. I kind of talked about the drive home, the mess after Adepticon, after the injection molding, car updates, what's to come. Yeah, No Money May coming up. May is tomorrow, so expect something tomorrow. I'm not like committing to daily or anything, no promises on timelines, but there will be more in May than there has been the last 6 months or so. For sure. I'm sick of not uploading. It's been so chaotic, man. Went to school for illustration, but fell in love with sculpting while I was at junior college and through university. Nice. Yeah, I went for engineering in high school. I was on track to do that. Took all the AP classes and all that junk. And then I was like, engineering, I don't know. I just want to make stuff. And so I switched to graphic design. And then that wasn't what I wanted either, so I left. Why isn't there a ceiling fan in your studio? Hazard for your height? Yes. Yeah. It's because I'm stupid tall and because the light that it's off screen, but the light that I use will hit it when I'm moving it around because, you know, if there's a ceiling fan in the middle of the room, every time I pick up the light to move it somewhere else, or even a camera if the camera's too tall, or that's not really a concern. It's mainly the light is so big, it just hits the ceiling fan and it's annoying, so I just removed the ceiling fan. And also it's just, you know, when am I going to use it? Did it take a long time to disable traction control because you removed the buttons? No, all the buttons are still there. I just removed the plastic housing for everything, but everything functionally is still there. The way to disable it is just like, I mean, right now I just have a speed sensor unplugged, so it turns off the whole system. But I think I can cut certain wires going to the controller, or maybe even just remove the... If I remove the ABS computer entirely, it just cuts traction control, ABS, and the car still drives. The only thing functionally it loses, I believe, is the speedometer, which I'm pretty sure I could wire up something to the OBD2 that reads from the drive shaft speed instead of the wheel speed. So I think I could get speedometer back. So I might just be able to remove the whole dang computer. Ooh, lots of stories. Concept art and art direction for the indie video game world. With the instability, yeah, it's not the most certain career path right now. Jumped and went back to the corporate sector. Nice. Decided against going to fashion school. Still make clothes and all that jazz. Not fit for a learning environment. That's the thing that I realized about graphic design. I don't know if I would have had the balls to drop out of school without COVID, but I definitely wanted to regardless. Because it was like, I'd been running a graphic design business in high school, so I was like, okay, I'll do graphic design in college. And then all the intro classes were just stuff that I already knew. So I'm like, I'm going big time into debt for what? To do intro level projects on something that I already know, which was just taking time away from the graphic design business I was already running. So I was like, what? Why am I paying money to take time away from? It just, yeah, didn't make sense. I think with a lot of creative stuff, you can just, with the power of the internet, you can learn and do stuff without college. Worked at aerospace engineering firm in the day and sculpt minis and make art at night. Hell yeah, that's the life. How do you manage in summers? I notice you're wearing a jacket. I mean, I got the AC going right now. Ceiling fan doesn't really do that much for it anyway. When I'm not streaming or recording audio, I have like a floor fan running back there. But it just screws up the audio. Supposed to start industrial design at Art Center, but internet showed up, so I just started making websites and ended up running a roller skate shop and now YouTube vids. Life is strange. Life is strange. Yep, there's plenty of paths. Glad my car doesn't have any electronics. It's a Mazda 121, sold as the Ford Festiva. Oh yeah, those are sick. I was looking at one of those on Facebook Marketplace the other day because my buddy needs a car. Those are dope. How long have I been streaming? Oh, we're at an hour. Nice. I don't know how long I'll go today. I'm kind of out of the loop on streaming. I guess if you're here and you're a live stream enjoyer, follow my Twitch. I don't know how much I'm going to be using it, but I'll definitely do some more test streams on there just to figure it out a little more. I think how it's going to work going forward is when I do short, like 1-2 hour streams like this that are just, you know, Q&A kind of hanging out. I'll do those on YouTube. But for like everyday recording sessions that are very long and slower paced, I'm going to do those on Twitch just so I don't pollute the sub feed, you know? I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but for me, like when I click on my sub feed and there's just some channels that are always live and I only care about their videos, it's like kind of annoying. Like I've unsubscribed to a couple people because they just stream way more than they upload. And I don't want to do that. So the live recording sessions will be on Twitch and the Q&A stuff will stay here. So go follow that if you're interested. Yo, miscast. What's up, Trent? I made it back with our big boy, the injection molder. I don't know if you saw the, or yeah, you did. You said I saw your comment. I ran this machine again last night. I fully edited the video and then realized I needed one closing shot of the miniature and I didn't keep one for myself. So I fired it up last night after finishing the video and made one more copy. I think it's back here. But the mold is still working great. There he is. Our little guy. Boom. Pardon my dirty fingernails. I've been tearing up my car. Yeah. There's my little guy. So I can make more of them. If you ever want me to ship you like 20 more of them, let me know. Great video. My girlfriend kept saying my short king every time I was in frame with you. Oh, yeah. Nobody's gonna want to collab with me ever again. Yeah. I'm just glad to have that video done. It was not supposed to take a month to come out, but it was a chaotic one. I always end up hiding the live streams when there's 3, 4, 5 of them. Yep. Look how spacious Big Man can finally dance in his workshop. Yeah. I think I'll probably tear this thing out and get me some more space. I kind of want to have like a rolling standing desk to substitute for this that I can move wherever. So I'll probably reuse the monster truck office chair wheels that went to the engine hoist for a third thing and build a big old rolling desk for big projects. You want to do it all again in Connecticut in 2 weeks? No joke? Are you coming back to the US? Send me a DM about that. I'd have to think about it. That's kind of a far drive. What's the car situation at the moment? I've not been following the Discord. It did make it back. I did get the 4Runner all the way up to Milwaukee and back, but it was a hell of a time going through Chicago with a throttle that was on the fritz. But we made it. So it is working. And the Tucson is pretty stripped down at this point. We'll get another video on it in the next month or so. It's just a lot of small updates on it now, so that's why I haven't made a full video. But the next video on it will probably be the whole chop of the Tucson, cutting it in half, which may happen in the next couple weeks. No joke, we can talk about it. Yeah, send me a message. Oh yeah, something funny. I was tearing up the Tucson the other day, just removing stuff out of it. And when I was in there, I was finding little plastic pieces in the trunk from last year's Adepticon. From when I did the first run with the injection molder. There's still little blue plastic pieces and stuff. The stream is turning into the YouTube DIY All-Stars event. I love it. Aside from minis, I'd give it a go at a marbling pattern with multiple colors mixed in. I did try that last year. I switched from like green to red and then red to blue, and it did some like weird mesh ones. I might have one back there actually. Can't remember. Where did that go? Yeah. So there's this guy. He's like, get a light on here. This guy was red and green. And then there's a blue and red. It's a pretty cool effect. That model didn't turn out as good last year because the mold was just so much shoddier and I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, with a good mold, I think that'd be sick. Actually, yeah, now that I have this mold, I could run more copies of the miniature that we made the other week in different colors. I also have transparent plastic to screw around with, which could be really cool. Those look like treats? Yeah, they do look like candy. We need to stop hanging out exclusively between the hours of 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. I agree. I agree so much. Yeah, I'm not like functional at nighttime. I feel like every time me and Trent have hung out, we're both like zombie mode. Yeah, that would be good. I would have made it there so much earlier if my car just worked. Rolling standing desks are the best. I've got wheels on my workbench. Works great for putting it in the middle of the room and shove under another workbench for some space. Yup. I think it'll be something I'll mess around with for sure. And you know the nice thing about scrap wood construction is if I don't like it, I can just tear it apart and use the wood again. Evan has to start walking now if he's going to make it to Connecticut in time. True. True. Just watched your injection molding vid. Great work and love the channel. Thank you. Thank you. It only sucked to hang out that late because it was cold as balls. That is the worst thing. Why do they put Adepticon in the Midwest in early spring? It's ridiculous. It was so much better this year than it was last year, but still it was so cold. I was doing fine because I was just like locked in the zone. And I also had a couple beers, but everybody else was like, I'm just torturing everybody in the audience, just like, hold up, stay here. Should just bring a space heater next time. Are you planning on being more prepared for next year's event? Sure. Me saying yes means nothing. I planned on being more prepared this year and last year. Plans are just plans, and then it ends up chaotic anyway. This is awesome. Yo, Evan, what's up? What's up, dog? Oh yeah, give me a call sometime about that project we were talking about. How are the commercial video projects going, and do you find it easy leveraging the YouTube success and quality of find new work? Love the vids, by the way. I haven't been doing that. When I do pick up commercial stuff, it's through my roommate Michael, who you've seen on the channel plenty, and he filmed the whole Adepticon video. He works full time in commercial videography, and so when I need to pick up an extra shoot, I'll just second shooter with him. So I don't like run my own videography thing at this point. I've done solo projects before, but right now I just go through him because I don't have time for all that. Not that it's not manageable to do YouTube and that, but it's tough. And I'm spending way too much time on some of these projects. I think I could leverage YouTube into commercial gigs. It's just not something that, I don't know. I have an ongoing issue where I'm like too all in on things, and it's hard for me to split my attention. And so like if I started my own commercial videography company and tried to leverage YouTube success into good gigs, then I'd just go all in on that, and then I wouldn't post anything on YouTube. And that's just how my brain works right now. I'm always trying to get better at it, but literally heating up the countryside. Yes. Doing it commercially would probably kill all the joy. I mean, it's a separate thing, you know. When I shoot some commercial event or shoot an ad for some contractor company, it's like it's a totally separate project, but it is really hard to split. Like I'll end up dropping the ball on YouTube, or I'll end up dropping the ball on the clients. And so right now I just kind of don't do that, and I just have no money. But I'm happier. I just, there's always a balance, you know. It's like, either feel like I'm dropping the ball on YouTube that I'm trying to pursue while doing other jobs, or don't do other jobs and then I have no money, and now I'm split between YouTube and figuring out how the hell to pay my bills. So it's always something, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm happy, and I understand I'm in a privileged position that my expenses are low enough that I can kind of float, for now, at least. I'm not giving up anytime soon. It's worth it. The vids definitely benefit from the time you've dedicated to your craft. Yep, I just need to make more of them. I just need to make more. Fun doing it now and then, but full-time commercial and do the channel. Yeah, yep. I agree. How long do you reckon you'll grow your hair? I don't know. Honestly, it's only this long because I just have been going insane. And I haven't cut it yet. Maybe I'll cut it at 100K subscribers and it'll be this long. I don't know. I don't really care. Just dropping in, watched your injection molding video last night. Awesome project. Thank you. Thank you. How long have I been going? Hour 22. I know viewers usually peak at an hour, and so it's kind of stupid to only stream for an hour, but I feel like I've said what I needed to say, or just gave updates and hung out. It's very good to see you all again and just chat, see some of the regular names. I gotta stream more, I gotta post more. We're getting there, we're getting back. Get ready for No Money May. Studio upgrades, all on $0 budget. Anything else I wanted to talk about? I don't think so. Yeah, follow the Twitch if you want random you know, live recording sessions for the videos. Next video will be some studio upgrades, most likely. Just getting back in the flow. I'm gonna make a sub 10-minute video again, I swear. They've all been so long and taken so long to come out. We're going back to the October workflow. Just more videos. Because honestly, I'm more proud of the channel when there is more happening, you know? I like the long videos, but interspersed between more stuff. No Money May challenge with 31 vids in 31 days. I don't know if I could do that, but I'll be posting a lot, for sure. Hey, Evan, love your vids. They're so inspiring. Keep it up. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I think I'm going to wrap. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this stream up here. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. Please, nothing in the month of May I want to join in, but I have exams. Always dig the studio upgrades. Keep on keeping on. Yeah, I don't know if I'm like doing it like daily October where I'm like challenging everybody else to do it. It's kind of just for me. But you know, if I encourage other people to kind of follow the same path along the way, that's cool too. But I'm not going to do like an announcement like here's the challenge video like I did for October. It's just going to be a thing that you can come to expect. All right, that's all. Thank y'all for hanging out. I will be back sooner than last time. It won't be a month until the next thing comes out. All right. Bye. Thank you for all the support.